So this is a video showing the current setup for a Pink Floyd tribute band. We've currently got a system made up of a M32R, which is the main front of house console. We have a X32 Rack, which is for monitoring, and I've done a video of this rack before. There's two Mac Minis just under there which are being displayed here, and that one's a backup. And so the software on there is currently Qlab, and then the actual band inputs go into a Midas DL16, and then in-ear monitoring is a combination of a DP48, which does the drum in-ear mix plus video recording, and because it's got two different mixes on it, and then just P16 monitors which come out of the in-ear rack. The in-ear monitoring can also be controlled with a X Touch, which slides out on a little tray to save. You can go in with an iPad, but it's a bit easier on there to sort of adjust levels and gain and stuff. So the system is slightly intricate, but it seems to work quite well. What we have is the DL16, and there's two power conditioners there. One of them's going to come out. It's just a place to stick it while I was waiting for some racks to come. The band inputs go into the DL16, so drums take up most of the top row, and then the guitars, keyboards and vocals take up most of the bottom row. Outputs to the speakers and subs come out of the DL16 on the stage, and then there's a large patch cable, which AES50 cable, so an Ethercon, which goes from the DL16 to the Midas M32R. So from a routing point of view, I'll just go to routing. So you can see that there. The routing is just taking AES50A, all of the inputs in, and the desk uses all those. I'll explain about, because there are some backing tracks as part of the system, I'll explain how they get into the front of house in a second. So quite a simple setup from the front of house point of view. It's just everything coming in via the AES50 cable into the back of the mixer, and then mixed channels for the mains and subs go back to the stage and come out of the DL16. All nice and normal, I think you'll agree. What happens also is the band inputs from the DL16 also get sent via another AES50 cable. I don't know if you can see it there, but there's actually two coming out. The AES50B socket comes out and goes into the in-ear rack at the back there. So what happens is that comes into the mixer here. Now currently you'll notice that the DL is showing as red, and that's because I was setting up for a different band, and what I need to do is set the clock source to be AES50A, and it will now sort itself out and eventually go green. There, it's gone green now. So just up here you can see the DL16 has gone green, and you can also notice on AES50B the DP48. We'll get to that in a second. So from a routing point of view, the inputs are that the band inputs from the DL16 come in on the AS50A into this machine, which is actually the B out of the DL16, but it comes into the A socket, and that has 16 channels from the DL16. The other inputs is we've got the card inputs, which is a USB card from the computers, and that comes into card 1 to 8. I've only got about 5 channels coming in. Only 4 of them are actually in any use, and I've got a spare one. So that's there. So that's the kind of routing on there. So hopefully you can see that. Now, the important bit is the AS50A out is looking like this. So obviously the AS signals are actually two-way. So as well as getting inputs in, this desk, this monitor mixer can actually send the channels out to on a completely another set of lines back to the DL16. So what it's sending backwards is, you notice the card 1 to 8 are actually being sent back again, and that was the main change I made. The rest of it is all kind of how it was and how it is, and that means that the signals, the backing tracks on the computer, actually get sent back to the front of house desk for the front of house desk to actually utilise. So that was the key thing. The AS50B is actually sending because obviously it can accept 48 channels, which I can choose from on the actual little DP48 mixer. Is I've got the first 16 channels are just the signals from the AS50A, which is the band inputs from the DL16, and then I've got the card inputs going to it as well, and the others I'm not too worried about. So I've actually got those signals going to the DP48, which allows me to create some nice little monitor mixes. And the other thing is if I just scroll across, sorry, just gonna do that, is the P16s are just choosing channels which I've set up. So I've got actually, you'll notice channel 1 is actually a mix bus 2, and that's actually a drum mix I've done because the P16s have only got 16 channels, and we were slightly short on the P16, so I've mixed the drums into a mix bus 2, so that's, you know, getting kind of a drum mix into there, and then the rest of the channels are just things like click, cue, tracks, and then all of the sort of different guitar and vocal inputs and keys and stuff like that. So that's the system. If I go to the desk and just show you, hopefully with the aid of the channel strips, the little scribble strips, what my channels are. If I go to the first layer, you'll notice I've got some DCA set up for kind of drums, tracks, guitar, keys, bass, lead vocals, backing vocals, just so these can be easily adjusted on the fly, which is quite useful. But my first layer is drums, so kick, snare, 3 toms. It says percussion there, but actually it's a Roland multi-pad for the sort of roto toms on time, and then a single overhead. I find a single overhead for live work is perfectly adequate. Small venues, so you get a lot of the sound from the drums anyway, so it's just to reinforce that, but I think the important ones are the sort of kick, snare, toms, that sort of thing. And channel 8 is just a spare microphone we're going to have plugged in just in case the microphone goes down, or if you know, we're ever playing somewhere where they want to someone wants to borrow a mic to do an announcement or something, then they don't have to use one of our decent mics. We've just got a very cheap mic on there which can be used, and it's a backup mic in case a microphone fails or something like that. Second layer is most of the sort of band inputs. So we've got bass, Variax sort of modelled guitar, and these are all on input 10, but they're going to be muted at different times because it's one input out of a amplifier, a DI output, but there's 3 different guitars going into it, so we'll just mute them for different songs. So it's a Variax model guitar, slide guitar, and a Telecaster being played at different times. So we'll just mute those as they go. The lead guitarist, a main guitar and an acoustic, and then 2 vocals on there. And then the next layer is just some other things. So the click and cue, I mean, they're coming in anyway, but they'll be not sent to the mains, so they're just happening in the desk and not actually sent to the main left and right outputs. The main track, a sort of solo instruments track, because there's a couple of bits of recorded saxophone on there, and then I've got 2 extra channels from the computer which can be used, and then we've got the live keyboard which is played live as well. And then the last tracks are not used, so we've even got some spare ones, which makes it quite flexible. So that's the setup for the band. So as you can see, if I play a track on Qlab, and Qlab does the lights, the tracks and video, so we do have video in there. So if I just play that, and then you can see certainly click track and track coming through, and then you can also see it coming through to the monitoring here. So that's coming out of the in-ear rack, and you can see it all ticking away on the P16. So it's all flowing in and out, and as I say, the tracks are actually from a Mac Mini just here, which is going into the in-ears rack, and then through the AES50 through the DL16 into the desk. So all working quite well, probably slightly more intricate than it needed to be, but this rack is on stage being controlled by me playing the drums, so I'll actually have I've got a little Qlab controller, controller button which is USB-C, so it allows me to scroll through and also play and stop, and annoyingly that white one launches Apple Music on the computer, which is quite annoying, so I have to make sure I don't touch that one. In this pouch I've got a spare keyboard and mouse just in case, and the X-Touch, spare stuff for in-ear monitoring in here, so some spare headphones, spare headphone cables, and a few power supplies for the P16s. And then round the back, sorry, I've got to step over some cables, we've got the lighting interface, which as you can see is flashing away, so that will drive the DMX lights. We've got a distribution box for the P16s. This is a splitter for inputs. I'll play with another band, and if we do something a festival, I've got a split, so I can give a complete split to front of house of all 16 channels. You can see the other one over there, and then outputs mapped down there. There's a little mini router in there, but that's a router for the in-ear kit, and I've got a separate router for the main desk, which can be used if our front of house engineer wants to, you know, kind of walk around and see how it sounds. So that's it. So I'm just about to save it all, and then pack it away and get it stored up. So hope that's interesting and useful, and there we are. Take care.
So here we are at Shinfield Theatre, day one, sound rehearsals. And they're setting up in the foyer because the stage has been used. There we go. desk. There we are, just doing our normal setups. There we go, this. Mark station.
It could be that we've got the cable.
Mama's gonna help build the wall. On the turning away from the pale and downtrodden, and the words they say which we won't understand. Don't accept that what's happening it's just a case of other suffering, or you'll find that you're joining in the turning away. Using words you will find us strange, mesmerize as they light the flame. Feel the new wind of change on the wings of the night. just